about to go down because we have the awesomeness Sharon Lechter in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, is another episode of the Carlos Inspire Show. The hottest show on the internet, the hottest show on TV, the hottest show online. The show that makes the Kardashians look is stupid. And it's about to go down. My friend Sharon Lechter, how are you, sister? How's everything?
Oh, I am fantastic. I've missed you. We need, we're starving for hugs. I want to give you a hug.
Tell me about it right now. It's like a virtual hug. And I've been even breaking all rules when I see people in person. And such an honor always to have you, my friend. I remember when I had you on the podcast about, a year, 2 years ago. And now it's like, all this fancy tools and features. Now we have a, podcast/TV show. And it's such an honor to have you here. And especially, it's some crazy times out there. And guys, let me introduce this rock star over here proper. Ladies and gentlemen, you have in the house here Sharon Lechter, which is an entrepreneur, an author, philanthropist, international speaker. In 1997, Sharon co-authored the international bestseller, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She's basically the rich mom behind the Rich Dad. But you guys already know who runs the show. It's the queen, even though we want to be kings. And she's the one who edited and annotated one of my favorite books and a lot of CEOs and very influential people's favorite books out there, Outwitting the Devil, baby. Oh, I love that book. And I'm going to be asking you some great questions. My friend Sharon, oh Lord, we're going to have some good time here today. And we're going to go straight to it because here's something from this book, Outwitting the Devil, that the craziest part that when Napoleon Hill wrote this thing back in the day, like early in the 19th century, a lot of the stuff that he talks about is affecting people more than ever in these times where we live. And that's like, how did he know, right? I mean, I know that some of our friends, and you and Don Green from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, you guys was right there on the table with Napoleon's Hill, grandson, J.B. Hill, and all these legendary people. You guys pretty much laid the pave of personal development. You guys called like Tony and Gary Vee and all these guys like they're the grandkids, and it's such an honor every time that I have a privilege, and I'm just so grateful to have, such a legend like you on my show. And, we're going to go straight to it, sister. You know me, I'm a big fan. And here's something from the book that I want to actually read it from the book. And I want to ask you this powerful question because it's going to serve a lot of people. In the book, Outwitting the Devil, say whenever the devil is being interviewed and says the devil, I cannot control you because you have discovered your own mind, and you have taken charge of it. This definite knowledge is the blow with which you will dead me the greatest damage. So, based on that, my friend, what is your best advice, Sharon, for someone to constant win the game against the devil in the times where we are living right now, which is the devil is everywhere. It's tormenting leaders. We have CEOs right now listening to us here. We got people from around the world in third world countries, people, stay-home moms right now that are working from home and taking care of businesses. So what is based on all the amazing knowledge that sister, from around, the amazing people and all your experience, what do you think is the secret sauce to literally beat the devil and stab him and win that game consistently?
Well, that line tells you if you use your own brain, you can create the life you want, and the devil's going to leave you alone. He says only 2% of the population use their own brain. And he says, I don't worry with them. I don't mess with them. I only mess with the other 98% who basically are drifters. And they kind of, whatever, go with the flow. He says, if you want to be successful, you need definiteness of purpose. He talks about this in the book, 7 steps to get rid of the fear. definiteness of purpose, mastery over yourself, which is over your brain mostly, learning from adversity, managing your environment. Whoa, that's a big one right now. Managing who you're hanging out with, what you're listening to, what you're allowing in your brain. Managing your time. Are you spending your time changing day pajamas for night pajamas, or are you investing your time? And then all that works together to create this harmonic rhythm that can create the life you want. But you have to make the choice to be definiteness of purpose and understand every step you take, you're in control. Are you controlling your life, or are you letting others control you?
I love that. I love that. I think I hear a little echo here. You see, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Huh, that's strange, but it's all good. You know how we roll. We keep it going. See, the devil, you cannot stop us.
Nope.
We'll keep it going. We'll go around, baby. It's funny because, in the times where we live nowadays, it's more important than ever, than ever. And I highly recommend you guys, not just because Sharon's here right now, to go read that book, because every time that I read it, or I can pick up on any page and just open up, or when I listen, I just love when I listen and I hear the devil's voice and your voice in the interviews. And it's crazy. Like, even when you're talking about you feel uncomfortable, with some of the questions that the devil asks. And right now, there's a lot of people out there feeling uncomfortable. And, you touch on a subject, Cheryl, that why 2% succeed and 98% don't. I mean, that's something that I ask myself, Sharon, all the time. My mission is to make poverty history, to get as many as people out of poverty, out of the street as possible, and trying to even that, right, and flip those percentages. What is your take? Why, only 2% succeed and 98% don't? And what is your best advice that we can help the 98% take it to another level?
Well, I can talk about what's in the book, but I want to answer your question from here. All right. Yes. We aren't teaching our children about money in school.
Yes.
That's criminal. We hear the term, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, because we learn at home. If we truly want to level the playing field, Carlos, if we truly want to have every child get an opportunity for creating success in their life, we need to give them the tools and the education, understanding money. Because at the end of the day, you either control your money or it controls you. And it controls you when you don't understand it and you don't learn about it and you get mired in debt. But at the end of the day, what's happened this year, what holds people back is fear. Fear either paralyzes you or motivates you. And most of us are paralyzed by fear. We want to get under the covers and turn off the lights, right? But if we can learn how to turn that fear into focus and energy, recalibrate and move towards that definiteness of purpose, we can conquer that fear and turn it into faith. But you quoted something out of the book. I want to quote something on page 61. May I do that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the devil is being asked, he's sharing his 6 most effective fears are fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. And the very next question, which of these 6 fears serves you most, devil? And his answer is the first and the last, poverty and death. At one time or another during life, I tighten my grip on all people through one or both of these. Hello, 2020, the pandemic, the economic collapse, and let's add the fear of isolation, the trifecta of fear. And what have we done? We've either collapsed and paralyzed, or those of us that recognize it, take the opportunity to say, where's the opportunity in this pandemic? How can we come out the other side? How can we solve a problem or serve a need? Successful businesses solve problems and serve needs. Yes. I think we have a few right now. And so let's educate people to work together and get rid of that fear. Take control of your life and take one step at a time, moving into the direction of adding value to other people's lives.
Yes, man. Like, I was talking about this the other day about being a person of value, always like giving more than what you take. And it's so funny, Sharon, because you touch on something, right? On those fears and the way how we are programmed since kids, like to the television, right? It's like television, like, it's like we are being told to watch, move, to put our vision here, telling you to vision, focus on this thing. And then, and if you guys think about it, how marketing and commercials and how messages are being downloaded to our brain, it's been, it's like, it's crazy because now you program. So you have to I mean, in my opinion, to literally annihilate the devil once and for all is to reprogram our brains and putting ourselves around others, like, that proximity is power, right? That our good friend, from the Napoleon Hill Foundation always talks about, right? Teaching people how to think and go rich, right? Because nobody's out there teaching others how to think anymore. And sure, we have a lot of leaders here and CEOs listening to us right now. And right now, I mean, what do you think is happening, with leadership? It's a lot of people are being massive layoffs. And right now, leaders more than ever is a lot of pressure. A lot of CEOs are resigning. I mean, you've been through some amazing, you've been through behind so many big companies and so many of those leaders as I do. And what is your best advice right now for leaders of company to, continue, getting through those tough times and like shrinking the destructive patterns that are happening right now? A lot of companies are being dissolved. So what would be your best advice to help those leaders get through this tough times like this? And what should they be focusing on?
Well, the first thing is to understand that you've got to either lead through the change or the change is going to capsize you. So you need to lead through the change, and sometimes you have to create the change. All right. I was on a show earlier today. We were talking about this restaurant chain that, of course, 60 restaurants, 20 restaurants, 30 restaurants are really impacted hugely by being shut down. And some withered and died. Others retooled, created delivery programs, family dinners to go, and is thriving through this. So as a leader, you have to say, okay, this is what's happening that I cannot control. I can control how we respond and react to it. And how can I redefine how we provide our services in this new dynamic and lead through it and understand that your employees, sometimes you have to make the tough decisions. Many of those employees may not be with you in a year. Maybe you had to lay some off during the pandemic. But the issue is providing the mission of your company, your business systems, and reacting to what's happening from the outside that you can't control. But what you can control is how you do your business and how you can adjust it so that you can continue building your customer base, continue serving your customer base. And in the interim, also being honest. Communication is key right now. I have a client who had employees that asked to go on unemployment. All right. That's what they wanted. And so it took the stress off the employer, and it gave them the opportunity to figure out how to re-enter and recalibrate. All right. So communication is key on all levels, to your investors, to your customers, to your clients. I mean, my husband and I, we live here in Arizona. We made sure we were supporting local small businesses more than ever.
Yes.
To keep them afloat during this difficult time.
Yes. No, that is so. I'm so glad that you touched on that, and something I'm always talking about. People to stay away from Amazon. Sorry, Jeff, not really. Go support all your local businesses. Stay away from Amazon. And it's so true, man. And we all can help the local businesses. Whether they are going under or they're losing their employees, we can always collaborate and share with them strategies, teaching them all the methods of how to do so many things that you can do nowadays online. You can do joint ventures, you can do affiliate marketing, you can leverage, they have an email list, they have a text, software list where you can, partner with people like Sharon, like myself, and do affiliate marketings where there's commissions involved and where you can help those businesses. Is all it takes. It's like stopping by. All it takes is picking up that phone and go talking to the person. But you touch on a subject, Sharon, which is that honesty. And a lot of leaders, sometimes it's hard, to feel defeated. But I want you guys listening to us right now that it's not your fault. We couldn't control the pandemic from being here, and if your employers hey, I need to go laid off and be on unemployment, it's okay. Like, let it go so you can grow. Don't pound on yourself too much, because it's just that you already know what's happening. That's what the devil wants. That's one of those fears. That's what the devil wants. Worry you, stress you, bring diseases and all that stuff. And speaking about those things that you are afraid of it, that you fear the most, you have no idea how much that connects, not only with your employees, but with your followers, with the people. They want to hear from you, CEOs. They want to hear what is the devil's whispering right now.
That's right. That's right.
So, and speaking of there, Sharon, can you tell us of a moment, something that maybe that it worries you, something that like maybe something that you never share with any other podcasts or TV news or stages around the world, something crazy that you went through in your lifetime, or maybe if you did share it, what did even made you, like open up? Like, what it was that one instance where you were like, you know what, enough is enough? Is that something that you haven't shared yet that nobody knows that you could share with us here?
Part of it I've shared, not all of it. And I'll share, absolutely. But first I want to give a definition of the word worry. To worry is to pray for what you don't want.
Yes.
All right. So I am a champion worrier. I was raised by the queen of worry. And when I got that definition, I realized is how we program our brains. So when I catch myself starting to worry, even now, I go, okay, instead of concentrating on what I don't want to have happen, reprogram my brain, Sharon, and focus on what I do want to have happen. Same thing with leadership. When you're worried, you're bringing negativity towards you. You're stressing out your body. You're impacting yourself physically. Right. And what happened to me was several years of recovery. In December of 2012, I lost my youngest son to suicide. Public figure, son, you lose to suicide. I've talked about losing my son. I don't talk about the suicide too much. And I literally threw myself into numbness. I was still working, but I had no zest. I was embarrassed. I felt guilty. I felt horrible. I didn't feel like I felt like I'd lost the right to help other people. And I didn't speak about it too much. I got back into the game. I thought about retiring. I got a little pushback from family and friends. And I think my own son was whispering in my ear, get over it, Mom. There's more for you to do. And when I speak to people now, we've all had things that stopped us in our tracks, whether it be a death, a divorce, an illness, a financial setback, but we're still here for a reason. And I wouldn't talk about it from stage because I never wanted anybody to think that I was capitalizing on having lost a child until I had an interview like this one, where I'm openly talking about it, where the interviewer asked me, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? Now, usually they say, what's the worst thing in business that's ever happened to you? And so I can answer that. But when they ask me, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you in life? Nothing compares to losing a child. Yeah. And so I shared it. And that day, I had so many people coming up to me afterwards. I opened a window of vulnerability that allowed people to relate to me, allowed them to feel safe in sharing their own pain and their own struggles, their own worry. And it was on that day that I realized that we all have things that happen to us, but that I could make a greater impact if I was open and vulnerable about the pain that I suffered and the things that happened to me. And I think more than ever, that vulnerability and that transparency is so important. There's so many people online, Carlos, that are fakes. Yeah. They're selling stuff that they don't walk the talk. It just drives me nuts. It's so important for us to stand in our own power, to be honest, to be vulnerable, and to really show up as who we really are.
Yes. No, wow. Well, this is so powerful. This is serving so many people right now, guys. Listen to us. Like, do not leave this live. If you are listening to this, think about this right now, guys, for a minute. Maybe what is there something that maybe that happened to you in your own life because of the position that you are. And I can imagine, as you were telling this, I was imagining like myself, being there on the stage, and it felt I'll be like, wow. And I want you guys to think about this right now. What is that something? Maybe you are in an industry that you no longer love. You are doing something that you are failing, and maybe you are going bankrupt. Maybe, you piled in debt. Maybe you are failing right now with your family and your spouse. And maybe, let's say, for example, you are a relationship coach, but your relationship sucks. You have no idea by sharing that. It will do you way more good than trying to hide the truth. Maybe you are a financial coach and your own finances is a mess, but it's nothing wrong. And you talked to something so powerful here today, and I'm so happy that you talk about it. It's like I have a little post note that says, well, now you cannot see it because it's green and I have green studios, it's screens in the back, but I put it in the mirror. Hey, Carlos, you are fat as hell, brother. That screen is not going to hide that belly. You need to see your daughter walking in the aisle on the church one day. And that's when I reset and I go, yep, let me go exercise for number 2 for the day. Do what going above and beyond. Do what nobody else does. Like, it's okay. Oh, look, and I tell myself, what am I going to hide it for? You know what I mean? Hey, brother. All right, good. Your phone you got your reminder. Shut down the studio. I know you want to interview amazing people and you want to help the whole world make a better place, but unless you prioritize everything, guess what? It's going to affect your health. It's going to affect other areas. Like for me, it was always hard to say no. Hard to say no to more projects, to sit on more board of advisors, to do this and do that. You know me, because in my mind, I was like, if I don't do it, they're going to die, but it's like, bro, you you doing great. If you die tomorrow, Jesus and God, they'll be smiling at you up there. You've been good, and I think that message has somebody right now needed to hear this, because one thing that I always say is that God will never put you through something, my friend. Listen to us right now. If he didn't think you could handle it. Let that sink in for a minute. Just let that sink in for a minute here, because this is so powerful. And man, I'm telling you, I knew you're going to come up with some. Oh man, this is good. Guys, and drop some questions over here. And man, you got me fired up over here. And here's something. And look at how crazy this is. From the book Outwitting the Devil, Edison converted failure into a stepping stone to achievement, while the others used it as an alibi for not producing results. Look how we were just talking about this, and I have it over here on my notes. What's your best advice for somebody that's dealing with failure right now? And then is there anything right now in your life, maybe that's failing that you're like, hey, I never talk about it, or I'm afraid to talk about it. And because I'm the first one, you know me, I'm like a Turner student, like Jim Rohn, like your friend, right? I'm a grave and a Turner student. Just because I'm mentoring some good people, that means, no, I'm a student. And I call people, I say, hey, I don't know how to do this. like I do a video and I share. Like the other day, I did a video on virtual mining. I was afraid to do it because I'm like, oh no, I've never done it. I started yesterday, but I want to share with people so they can make an extra $40 per month, because I know that an extra $40 per month is the difference between starvation and not. And a lot of people, they don't understand about cryptocurrency or virtual mining. I'm new. I'm old school into crypto, but in mining, I'm new. So that I did this one video on YouTube a couple of days ago, totally uncomfortable. And that's why I did it, because I wanted to show, here's how I made $40, that's going to, here's how I made a few dollars that's going to help me make $40 in a month, to show the kids and the people that are running the shelters in third world countries that, look, $40 a month. I know this will bring food and you're not going to have to die from starvation. And then I also share with other people that these are the things that they could do to make a little bit more because of the expenses in other countries are higher than others. But, so that topic, I think a lot of people right now are having a hard time dealing with failure. So if I would love to hear your perspective and your wisdom on something that maybe you are failing, or something, the best way for somebody dealing with failure right now, on how can they overcome that and deal with that failure.
Well, Napoleon Hill also said, out of every failure comes a seed of an equal or greater benefit. I don't know a successful person on earth, and I know a lot of successful people who have not experienced failures during their life. The road to success is not a straight line. It's like this, right? And the biggest thing, so many people make a mistake, have a failure, and they define themselves by it. It's like an old sack of potatoes. They carry it wherever they go. Women are notorious about this. And so I want people to write this down. A failure is an occurrence, not a definition. A mistake or a failure happens. It's a point in time. It is an occurrence. It does not define you. What you do with that failure, if you get back up, stand back up, that's how you define yourself. You bounce back. And it's so important with our kids today, because we're not allowing our kids to fail. We're putting them in bubbles, and they're not learning how to recover, how to bounce back up. We need to allow them to experience life and stand back up. That's how they build self-confidence. Every step of the way, each one of us, we have a failure, we make a mistake. It just is a point in time. Will we keep moving forward, or will we stay and sit in the setback? Yeah. That's my friend Tim's story. He says, don't sit in the setback, make a comeback.
Yeah.
And you do that by recognizing that there's a lesson. Learn the lesson in the failure, and then say thank you. Gratitude for the failure, and keep moving forward and say next opportunity.
Yes, amen. That's what I'm talking about. Wow, that's just so powerful. For every setback, you already know it, ladies and gentlemen. That is a comeback. What is my button? You guys already know. You're going to hear this word here all the time. But what happened? They say no, and you say next, baby. They say N-O, and you say N-X. Because it's like this, right, Sharon? Like, we and I talk about this so much from stages around the world and to so many people. It's like, if you're not failing, you're not growing, period. And if they are not talking about you, that's not good. They gotta be, if they're not talking about you good or bad, it's not good. You have no idea, like, how many times I get messages like, hey, Carlos, I see that you're teaching and you're talking about some new topics like crypto and this and that. I'm like, I'm talking about the things that are trending to help more kids out of starvation. And I don't care. It's uncomfortable for me, because at the beginning I was like, should I talk about that? Because I'm known for inspiration and motivation and growing businesses. But I'm like, you know what? No, I will talk about it, because it's like going against the thing that I preach. Now I'm going to follow what I preach, and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to put myself out there, because at least if I failed, I'm being straight up and I am showcasing. I'm like, look, I'm trying this over here today, and here's what I got the results. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to come back here on another video. I'll open up my screen and I show exactly what is happening, because now it's like you walking the talk. If you are failing, but at least you are being honest about. And I think that's something that so many people out there, Sharon, if they would just do that, open their curtains on whatever they are working on right now, and share with people, hey, here's what I'm working on. I fail on this, but I win on that. I fail on this, and I win on that. You would get so many more people to follow you, to join forces with you. And it's crazy. And speaking of things that you are working on, what are you working on, my friend? What is something that the greatest Sharon Lechter is working on? I know that you have your beautiful ranch in Arizona that I highly recommend. Everybody go stop by there, and it's just like you can shoot and horseback riding and all the amazingness. Your ranch is just beautiful. But what is that the greatest Sharon Lechter is working on? What is happening in your world?
Well, thank you, Carlos. I'm so excited. We actually this week launched a group mentoring program because for many years I just did one-to-many through books and speaking and podcasts and radio shows and TV shows. And about 5 or 6 years ago, when after I lost my son, I started doing one-on-one mentoring. It kind of was helping my heart a lot. And I love that, but I can only take so many clients. We had a lot of requests. So this week we actually launched a group mentoring program that's going to start in November. And I'm so excited about it because, again, successful businesses solve a problem or serve a need. So we've had a lot of requests, and so we've put the program together. I'm very excited about it. People can email us info@Sharon Lechter if they're interested in finding my info@SharonLechter.com.
Are you doing that in person, or are you doing that in the ranch?
Well, in person, this will be virtual, all right? And then I also have business retreats at the ranch, cherrycreeklodge.com. Our next retreat is November 20th, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And we go up on Friday and come back on Sunday. So I'm very excited about that. It's an intensive time for us to laser focus in on everyone's business. We have such a great time. We do horseback riding and shooting, and we do fishing, and we do drinking. A little bit of that, and lots of s'mores, everything. But we do one-on-ones and group, and we train on how to take your business to the next level. Michael is there, my husband, and we talk about how to take your intellectual property and have multiple streams of income, how to take and exponentially scale your business through new opportunities, through new licensing, through the power of association. That's my superpower, understanding how to leverage where you are and tenfold it through associations, through licensing, through opportunities to grow your business and impact more people. So that's exciting. Our next one is in November. We actually just had a few openings come up because a group of Canadians can't come because of the travel restrictions.
Yeah, I heard about those restrictions in Canada. You know me, I do those secret masterminds and retreats, and I love those. So I highly recommend you guys checking out my
You should come, Carlos.
I know, for real. I was telling my wife.
We'll shake up the world.
And what's got over there?
This is my new book, Exit Rich. It's out in January. It's been picked up by Inc. magazine, and it talks about how to take your successful business, make it sustainable, scalable, and saleable, and how to prepare your business for sale and get maximum profits.
Wow.
So
hey, look somebody who showed up here that wanted to say hi, that loves you.
Hi, Miss I love you. I'm so happy to see you.
Isabella, she ran over here. She said, you guys Sharon Lechter? She wanted to come and say hi.
She's my buddy. She's my buddy.
Man. I was looking at the photos, you guys in the events that we are out there speaking around. That little one, man, is a disciple of Sharon. That's so cool, my friend. That's so awesome. What a great show. So great to have you here. And you know me, I always love to go deep with deep questions on my shows. So I'm gonna go there. You're just mind-blowing that you have accomplished so much in life. And fast forward 50 years, on that eulogy, I'm gonna be there. We're gonna be playing. It's gonna be AC/DC. I'm gonna be smoking a cigar, drinking some whiskey, and they're gonna say Sharon Lechter was ... What is it going to be written, my friend? What are they going to say, on that beautiful eulogy of yours 50 years from now?
Well, they're going to say, I hope, my goal always is my life is better because I met or learned from Sharon Lechter.
Wow. That's powerful.
Growing up as a child, my father would ask me each night, Sharon, have you added value to someone's life today? He's been gone for 14 years, but I still ask myself that every night. And wouldn't the world be a better place if all of us focused on adding value to other people's lives? I know you do it, Carlos. I know that's your mission in life, and as it is mine. And we need to be givers. We need to pour into other people and give them the opportunities. And people say, I'm waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel. And I go, stop it, because that means you're giving up control. You're waiting for someone else. Become your own beacon of light.
Yes.
Shine brightly, stand in your own power. And when you do that, you attract other people to you, and they light their lights from yours. And all of a sudden, we illuminate our lives. We illuminate our communities. We illuminate others around us. That's how we take control. That's how we serve and support ourselves and others through this crazy time we live in.
Yes. Now, you have no idea how many languages I translate that question that you ask yourself every night, because you and I talk about that so many times in our lifetime. And I tell kids in Brazil, in Mexico, in Africa, around the world, and I tell them, quantas pessoas você está adicionando valor hoje? How many people did you add value today? Did you add value to somebody today? That's all you do. One person, guys. Don't try to go and take over the world. No, we always started with one. Sharon started with one. I remember asking Les Brown, hey, bro, whenever you started with your YouTube channels, did you get lots of followers? He's like, hell no, Carlos. I'll go for months and nobody would show up, But all he did, I'm going to focus on one more. And every time that you and I talk, I tell people, guys, you want to know a great advice? If you can take one thing from this here today, put a reminder on your cell phone every day before you go to bed. And ask that question that Sharon asks herself every day. And if the answer is no, if you didn't add value to somebody today, if you didn't make, like I like to say, that I made somebody smile today, that I was playful today, was I silly today? If the answer is no, I challenge you to go do for 2 people tomorrow. Because just there, right there, my friend. One, like I talk about this all the time on stage, win one, help one. And it starts with one. It starts with our neighbor. It starts in our community. If opportunity doesn't knock, you already know it, baby. You build a damn door. You go talk to start a neighborhood watch in your community. You go start your own Toastmaster or BNI meeting. You start your own mastermind or retreat like Sharon and I does. You just start. And even if one person shows up, and I don't care if you go to the hotel and if it's the janitor, because Sharon and I have been there when we started it. Nobody would shut up at the beginning. But guess what? We didn't quit. We kept it going because God was always testing us. And right now you go into something tough, just keep it going. People will quit on you, but do yourselves a favor, my friend. Make sure that you keep it going for the rest of your entire life. Sister Sharon, I appreciate you. You got me fired up. Any last words, rock star? I'm just so happy.
I love you. Everybody watching and listening, use the energy that Carlos has shared with you tonight and turn that fear into fuel and focus on what you want. And use that focus and that fuel to refire your life. Get out there and help other people and know that you have the opportunity now more than ever to create the life that you deserve. Now's the time. Some of our greatest companies were started during the Great Depression, during the 2008 Depression. Where we are right now is a land of opportunity. Yes, it's stressful, but out of stress, I want to compare, we got this great picture, a sword, all right? A sword becomes soft in heavy heat. High stress, heavy heat. The hammering makes it hard. And that's what we've been through. We've been through the heat. We've been hammering through the heat. We are strong. We are swords ready to create the life we desire.
Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another episode. You guys already know it. This show, the way how we do it, it's a free show, podcast, TV show. The way how you can support us just by tagging 3 people here to this show. Tag 3 people, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe, whatever platform you are watching. Let us know what you got the most from the show, what you love, what else you like to learn from the show. Drop some questions for our guests. And then, Sharon, where can they follow you on social media, my friend? What are the most active?
Well, you can email me info@sharonlechter.com, but please follow me on Instagram, Sharon Lechter, on Facebook, author Sharon Lechter, LinkedIn, Sharon Lechter. So come to sharonlechter.com for my website. I would love to hear from you. And you know what, Carlos? You and I say this all the time, and very few people take action. So I'm challenging you guys. Stand in your own power. As Carlos started this show, the 2% have control of their mind. They take action. So I challenge you to take action. Reach out and connect with me today.
Yes. Boom. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. I love your sister. Have a blessed day. And you guys already know, at the end of the day, life is about contribution, not acquisition. And the days that break you, baby, are the days then make you. Let's go. God bless you guys. Bye.